tell people that one of my favorite animals to work with as the marine mammals go are sea lions. I love the sea lions, and I find sea lion and horses to be very similar. Now, I had a lot of animals that I love to work with. The Commerson dolphins were kind of amazing because of how far they came. The baby orca, I loved working with her. Her and I had a very special thing. And so, there's lots of animals that I love to work with. But the sea lions were really one of my favorites. And the reason is, and because Jesse had asked me, what are some of the most difficult behaviors you worked on? And I said, the aerial behaviors can be all rather physically challenging. But what I realized is, then I said, no, it's taking the sea lions, teaching the sea lions to go out in the park can be quite a challenge, because it can create a lot of insecurity. I mean, they are kind of, and everybody kind of thinks, marine mammals are prey and predators, they're predators, but they're prey, they're prey, and that tends to override everything else, except the orcas. The orcas are apex predator. I couldn't even scare the baby when I tried. She just was like, wee, that's great, that's so much fun. And I'm like, I would have had a sea lion 14 miles from here. I started small, but didn't have that in them. But everybody else is really driven mostly by their desire to be safe. Sea lions, and we worked with male sea lions, but taking a young sea lion and teaching them to go out in the park, teaching them to be confident out there was one of the biggest challenges. And yet it is one of the challenges I loved the most, because I felt like I was helping that individual to be a more confident version of themselves. So, and it was particularly the ones that struggled with it. Some of them were quite bold and it wasn't quite as hard, but more often than not, they could struggle with going out in the park and being around people, and being away from their herd, and being, out into strange lands with so much to see. And really, they could have a little bit of that neophobic stranger danger kind of mentality. So building their confidence out there was one of my greatest joys, was to see, because now we could open their worlds up for them. When we got that confidence there, and it was, sometimes in the beginning, it was, you take a little step outside, you're like, that's great, food, back in. And that we let their adrenaline back down, and okay, everything's okay. So we started little and building that as we went, and trying to get them more confident about seeing new places, new sights, new sounds. And again, just like we do with the horses, this is a huge horse challenge, is really wanting it not to be, horses tend to be neophobic. They tend to look around and think everything might kill me and I'm going to run from it all. And what we want them to do, we want to turn that around. So they start looking at things and going, what is that? I want to see that. And feeling more curiosity, feeling more confidence, feeling bolder, feeling safer in a new environment. So those things they were the same with the sea lions. And I loved it. It was one of my favorite things, was to have a little sea lions and teach them to go out, to do public stuff, to be intrigued out there. And one of the things that I like best about it is it can become a huge environmental enrichment. When they like it, taking them for walks becomes something that's super fun for them, because now they're looking around. And that's what we work on with Henley and Santino. We want them, when they go to new places, later on being a show, but now it's kind of smaller degrees of shows, we want them to go and think, what is all this stuff? I want to see it. And that was really one of the things we worked on with the sea lions. And it really was my favorite thing, because you're helping that individual to be a better version of themselves, and to thrive in this human-centric world that we have chosen for them. They haven't, none of them, sea lions, horses, none of them said, I would like to be here. We've decided. Dogs, cats, speaking of, this is Jesse's little Finnegan. They didn't ask to be here. We chose this for them. So I think it feels to me that it is our responsibility to be good stewards, to help them to thrive in this human-centric world that they live in. And so when we work with taking the horses, when we take the horses out and teach them about going out to new places, and then can turn it into environmental enrichment, we've gone beyond just having them be comfortable in the world. We've gone out and we've helped them to kind of be intrigued by the world and finding joy in new places, new sights, new sounds. So if we do our homework correctly, we can use all of the training and going to new places as environmental enrichment, and ways that we can help fulfill their days and help them to be the best versions of themselves. So that's my tip or thought for today.